Hey guys, so it is now fall and it's pretty much my favorite time of the year. Even though I live in Florida and don't really get to experience fall the way that other people do, I just live vicariously through everyone else. So last year I did a fall recommendations video, which I just had so much fun doing, and so I thought that I would do an updated fall recommendations video for this year. And these are all books that I have read and that I have loved, and I will explain why I think these would make some good fall reads. The first book that I have to mention is You by Caroline Kepnes, and then also the second novel, Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. So these books I'm sure you have heard about. You is about this super creepy stalker who is obsessed with a girl, and you get into his mind and you hear all of his weird and twisted thoughts as he tries to get this girl to like him and to date him, and just how freaking creepy he is. It is just such a creepy book. Next, I'm going to recommend one of my new favorite books of all time, Fall of Marigolds by Susan Meissner. Now, I talked about this recently because I've recently become obsessed with this book. It's so good. There is a September 11 story as well as the story from 1901, this nurse who lives on Ellis Island, and I just think it's such a cozy book. It actually does have twists and turns too, so it's not just like this fluffy novel. It's really, really, really good. It's hard to explain why it's good, but it just is good, and trust me, you want to read it this fall. Also, you just want to read this anytime because it's good. Next, I want to definitely recommend Heartless by Marissa Meyer. So I think this book actually takes place in the fall, so you already get that fall ambience from the actual story, but also it's like a fairy tale-ish retelling of Alice in Wonderland, more like the prequel to Alice in Wonderland. So there's that fantasy element to it, which I always think fantasy makes a great fall type of book. So this has that element to it, and there's some romance. It's just heartwarming and sad and dark, which I think really pulls into the fall theme. So definitely read this book this fall if you have not yet picked it up. I'm gonna throw in a contemporary here, like a new adult romance, and that's Nowhere But Here by Renee Carlino. I read this book last fall, I think, and it also starts off in fall in California in like Napa Valley, and it's beautiful on this winery. There's this really wonderful romance that occurs in this book, and it's just a really good, cute romance type read if that's what you're looking for this fall. I have one more fantasy recommendation if you would like fantasy in the fall time, which what better time than the fall to read a fantasy novel, and that's Six of Crows. It is just a very good fast-paced story. There's a bunch of different characters and you get to be in each character's perspective. There's a lot of different stories happening within the main plot, which makes it just a super interesting book to read. Super engaging, definitely good for a fall read if you want something that's a darker side of fantasy. I'm just gonna recommend all of J.K. Rowling's Cuckoos Calling series. So these are mystery books following the greatest main characters, Cormoran Strike and Robin, and I love them. So basically these all have a creepy element to them. There is murder, there's crooked people. It's just, they're not the greatest humans in the world you're going to be reading about, but it just makes such a good read. And this is a series that gets better with each book. I would recommend all of these mystery novels for fall. I mean, I think mystery, suspense, fantasy, those are my favorite types of books to read in the fall. So if you haven't read this series yet, definitely get to it this fall. If you have any fall recommendations for me, please let me know. I'm going to put them in my little TBR jar that I have going that I haven't yet picked anything from, but I will get to it this fall. So if you leave me some recommendations, I would love to check them out. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading.